Hey guys, thank you for joining me, Pastor Mike here. Just a quick update and some news items. Going to want to keep you up to date with many of these things. This Sunday, we have some great things going on. Sunday the 23rd, we will be seeing the Christmas pageant that's being worked on every Sunday after church for about a month now. And so invite your family and friends to come out and see the kids play out the Christmas story. That'll be this Sunday and be a real blessing and a pleasure. Additionally, we have the opportunity to ordain two brothers to the office of deacon this Sunday. Brother Nate Browning and Jay Toloski have been serving our church in myriad of ways that are behind the scenes, ways that probably no one notices but are going on, and we're very thankful and blessed to have those brothers serving our church in the way that they have been for quite some time. Brother Jay is in charge of guest services. He does the scheduling for ushers. He makes sure that you get a bulletin in your hand when you walk in the door on Sunday. He also keeps track of the security and safety of the building. He's the one that shuts the lights off and locks the doors when everybody else is gone. And so that ministry Jay has been doing for quite some time, probably better part of a year. And he's been doing a great job and really alleviating a lot of responsibility on behalf of the elders. It's good to have somebody in charge of that. And then additionally, Brother Nate has been in charge of all things tech. And we asked him to step into that role because we knew that he was certainly qualified as a professional IT I think he's a supervisor over at Torrington Savings Bank. And so, we knew that he was qualified. We knew he had the skill set. And yet he was very busy, but he still agreed to take on those responsibilities. And he just did a beautiful job installing a brand new projector, which, he pretty much did single-handedly. And he did an amazing job. So these brothers have been helping out in so many ways. And so, appointing them and ordaining them as deacons is a way that the scriptures give us to recognize these brothers and to see that they have, as serving deacons, a good standing for themselves in the church and also great confidence in the faith that is in Christ Jesus. And so I hope you will join me this Sunday to pray for these brothers and appoint them to the ministry that they're already participating in. And then a couple of other items. Of course, we're going to have a Christmas Eve service on the 24th. Some people have been asking about that. Absolutely, we wouldn't miss it for the world. The 24th at 6 p.m., it will be a very special service with a special message. Just going to be special music. And it's always a blessing to come here on Christmas Eve and to see the twinkle in the eye of the children and to see the warm greetings taking place between adults. It's always a blessing. And so come out for that. Invite people. There are probably some invite cards on the back table in the church, and so grab some of those and hand those out. And then a couple of other less pleasurable items, I suppose. We've been in communication with the finance team. There was an elders meeting on Tuesday evening, and a couple of brothers from the finance team came over and gave us a little bit of an update. And what they notified us of was that the giving has been down by about 5%, which is not catastrophic, but it is certainly detrimental. And so we want to let you know that. We don't often talk about money. In fact, we purposefully try not to talk about that subject. But at the same time, we need to let you know that giving has been down. And so would you consider making an end-of-year gift to the Ministry of Northwest Hills? I hope you'll think about doing that. Of course, it is tax-deductible. And, give this as a Christmas gift unto God. There are so many things that go on here during the week that you might not have the opportunity of seeing. I'll just give you an example. There was a need that arose yesterday. It was a very small amount of money, just like $50 or so, but it was going to keep somebody living where they were living. And we had the opportunity to provide that need. The Bible tells us that when you lend to the poor, you lend to God. When you give to the poor, you lend to God. And so we had the opportunity to lend to the Lord yesterday. And then additionally, we were given the opportunity, because we met that need, to share the gospel and to also make sure that somebody's going to be in church on Sunday. And so that's just a wonderful blessing. We also are working and serving with the Overflow organization, We have had a full capacity of guests in our building every night, going on for quite some time. We even had a little bit over the overflow staying in the building, keeping a warm place for people to sleep who have no place to go. And we'd love to expand that ministry. It would be pretty awesome if you said, you know what, I'd like to volunteer and get involved. Contact Brother Mike O'Kane if you're interested, or Maureen O'Kane, and they can tell you how to get I think it's just an hour training. And the situation is that, so there's only 18 beds that are allowed in overflow. And that's because there are only 3 volunteers, and there has to be a ratio that the overflow organization requires. And so Brother Mike O'Kane noticed that there were people that they were turning away, and it's a pretty dire situation when it's 20 degrees outside, and you've got to turn somebody away, and they've got no place to go. And so what we did, Brother Mike O'Kane went and said, hey, if we get somebody to get the training, the hour-long training to serve in overflow, and if they agree to stay, then they said that we could add another 6 beds within our church and house another 6 people during the night. So this would be something of the overflow for the overflow. And they agreed to that and said that that would be possible. And so just be praying about that. It's really not a hard ministry to serve in. It would just mean maybe you sleep here once a month at the church, I think between the hours of 8:30 and maybe 6 a.m., and so, man, it is such a blessing to people. It is such a blessing. I've been told that out of all of the places where people stay for overflow, our church is their favorite for just a variety of reasons. It is probably the warm greeting that people receive and the kindness that is extended to them here. And so just be praying about being involved in that ministry. That would be really awesome if you stepped up and said, yeah, I'm going to meet that need and get involved. And then additionally, you've probably noticed that we no longer have a church library. If you haven't, surprise, we no longer have a church library. We have probably about 24 books that are worth keeping around in the library space, and the rest of the stuff is probably going to hit the dumpster at some point. There really isn't much in there. There are many very nice shelves, but they're empty. And so the elders have been talking about how to, what to do in light of that fact, and then how to make the fellowship hall more user-friendly, how to make that into a space where people are going to want to read and pray and spend time in that space. And so Brother Paul Carmen has come up with a little bit of a plan, and what we've been looking to do is potentially put down some nice carpet in that space, update the lighting with some nice, warm, inviting lighting. Put the bookshelves out in the hall and fill them with books that you're going to want to read. Fill them with books that are faithful, good, modern Christian literature that you're going to want to take a look at, and also have some reference works there so that if you're studying the scriptures, if you're teaching a Sunday school class, if you're trying to teach your family something or whatever, you're going to have opportunity. We'd also like to do something of a ladies, women's ministry section, and then also a section for homeschoolers, and maybe some of the classical curriculum materials that are a little bit inaccessible for families. Maybe we could have a section for that. So at this point, this is just pie in the sky, right? We're just coming up with this idea. We've kind of figured out the costs, and it's expensive to do it. We're looking to put some Barnes & Noble style chairs in that space, really making it a very usable space where people can just sit and read and pray and take advantage of that space. We've talked about making the door unlocked for that space so that people can come and go in. So, if you need a little quiet time or whatever, you can have access to that space and, definitely put a coffee maker in there and maybe some nice music as well. But all that costs money, and it's not going to get built on its own. But we would like to see that done, and we think that it would be a valuable expenditure for the day-to-day workings of our church to make this a place that people can take hold of. Right now, it's a very large area that we don't really use for much. The only time people use that is when they're walking through it to get to another place, and so We want to put that to best use. We would still be able to utilize that for potlucks and all that different stuff. The kind of carpet that we would put in there would be very durable carpet, so it would be an industrial grade kind of carpet. It would look nice, but it would be very durable to put up with a potluck or something like that. And so, hey, this January we're going to be approaching the congregation and saying, hey, if you're interested in donating, whether donating books or funds to the library, or donating funds for the finishing of the space, if you, like, one of the things we were talking about doing is it would be great to have a TV down there underneath the speaker that we've installed that would play the sermon as maybe another cry area, an overflow space, and then also having a newsreel on that, so that when you walk in, the news items for the church would be playing on that. Things like this, and so that might be a real blessing for a church. And so just be thinking about whether you want to contribute to something like that. If you do, feel free to write that on your offering envelope, or contact one of the elders or brothers if you have something to donate. That would be very helpful. If you have some ideas, some insight into how you might assist us making that happen, contact us, and we'll be happy to get you involved. I appreciate you listening. I'm so looking forward to Christmas Eve and this Sunday with you. I pray that you are well, and as always, if you have any questions, concerns, contact me at pastor.burgos@northwesthillschurch.org. Thank you for watching.